sometimes I go long on that. All right. What happens when you receive a writing assignment? So before we start talking about all the different kinds of documents, we need to explain what to do when you actually receive a writing assignment, whether it's through email, whether it's a knock on the door, whether, however you're going to get your writing assignment, you're going to receive one. And the funny thing about lead attorneys sometimes is they're not always clear on what they want. They think you know it all. Like, I need a legal memo on this. Okay, so I need the deadline. You guys are going to need the deadline. You're going to need how much time do you have? Do you want it as far as like a research? How do you want this done? And then some lead attorneys are pretty good at letting you know what they want done. Other lead attorneys don't like email. They'll call you on the phone. They'll tell you what the assignment is. So be ready to take notes because they'll just say, I need this done, this, and this, and you're just going to be writing it all down. Okay. So when a supervising attorney gives you a writing assignment, you must, the word is must, learn the nature of the assignment. That's number one. What's the nature of the assignment? Well, who is it for? Who's it going to? What is it about? What's it going to be about? When it needs to be completed, you absolutely need to have a deadline. They won't give you one. And then you can just say, is there a deadline on this? And they'll be like, yeah, tomorrow by 2:00. They forget to do things like that. So it's important that you guys ask. What kind of writing approach it calls for? Persuasive? Is it objective, persuasive? You'll know that on your own, but if not, ask, okay? We're gonna consider each one of these, step 1, 2, and 3, as we talk about receiving that writing assignment, okay? All right, so number 1, the first thing you need to do is actually understand the assignment. Now, it's like anything. If you get anything, I didn't understand the assignment or I did understand the assignment, it just whether through a text, email, conversation. So the practice of law can be hectic. There can be a lot of things going on at that particular time when you receive this assignment. There could be other things going on. You may have, the lead attorney calling you on the phone. You may have been doing something else on your computer, drafting a complaint or, creating a pleading, whatever you're doing. Right? So things were hectic. Things are always going to be hectic in a law office. Nothing runs smoothly. Even if you work remotely, it's always something to do, always somebody calling, always somebody sending an email, always something going on, okay? So paralegals are often expected to research and write about issues within a short period of time, okay? So I kind of like doing that. I do that with homework. I give you guys a homework assignment and I don't give you much time. I mean, I give you breakout room time, but I don't give you time to go out there and really, think about it. How am I going to create this? It's kind of spur of the moment if you really think about it. I give you a research assignment. I give you a legal memo, and that's kind of the way it's run. That's kind of like it's receiving a homework assignment from me and expecting it done in a certain time frame. It's kind of how it's done. I think the more time you spend on a legal document, the more time you have to think, the more it's just going to be scrambled everywhere. I think when you know it's due at a certain time, you know what it entails, you know what you need to do, you stay more focused, is the way I feel. I mean, it might be different for you guys, but I try to train you that way with your homework assignments, okay? When you receive a writing assignment, make sure you understand its exact nature, exact. Don't guess. Don't guess the nature. Know the nature, okay? So that you can work as efficiently as possible. Nobody wants to start research and go down that rabbit hole. I talk about the rabbit hole all the time because I've been there. Researching 3 hours, finding this, finding that, not finding this, not finding. You need a checklist. What's the nature? What am I looking for? What exactly am I looking for, okay? Those checklists will save you every time. Take the time out to create a checklist. It really does help. If you do not understand the assignment, which nobody's perfect, right? The assignment might be something that wasn't, clear, and that's fine. You will likely waste time doing unnecessary work. Of course, if the assignment's not clear, you're just going to sit there. I mean, honestly, if an assignment or something you get is not clear, what do? You just kind of like stare at it. Before you know it, it's 10 minutes and you're like, oh, what does she mean? Right? That's what happens. So you don't want to do any unnecessary work. Your time is precious. If you're working an 8-hour shift, it goes by fast. And, you got to subtract your lunch on that too. It goes by fast. You're not just working on one case. You're working on more than one case. Could be 5 cases a day. Depends on what's, due, what deadlines you need to meet by Friday, by Thursday, by that day, by 5:30. It's all calendared in its own timeline. So if you're doing unnecessary work, you're not going to meet everything, all those deadlines you need to meet. And it's very important that you guys meet every single deadline without an excuse. Okay, so unnecessary work, don't do it. Make a checklist. Each project is a little different. Yep, not so different. A legal memo is a legal memo. We get it, right? We've done 5, but the information is going to be different. The research will be different. I mean, obviously. And your approach varies depending on the kind of document you are drafting. A legal memo, right, is usually with an IRAC. Okay, if your lead attorney says, no, I want a case brief, well, that's different. Not a whole lot different, but there's a different structure to it. Okay, and the complexity of the subject matter. Now that's important. If it's something you've never really researched before, well, obviously you're going to look at secondary sources, primary sources, cases on point. It's going to take you a little bit longer. If you've never researched a subject before, of course, you're going to save cases. You're going to try to, narrow down your search for cases, read some cases on point, get some good ideas. That's going to take you a little bit longer. So know that. Now, if you get something that's not complex and it's a complaint of something, let's say it's a First Amendment freedom of religion complaint that you've done twice or 3 times before. Well, not so much complex, right? So not so much research. You kind of have that down. So, you can kind of, tell yourself how much time you should take on each one. And it's really important to give yourself a time limit. Okay. And the reader's needs. So when do they need it? How fast do they need it? Is it for a client? They want an answer quickly. And sometimes clients are impatient. Okay. Sometimes lead attorneys are impatient. Sometimes everybody in the law firm's impatient. It's what everybody needs. So if somebody needs something, if the lead attorney's calling you because they need something to be done, and well, okay, when's the deadline? Well, as soon as possible. Well, that's not really a deadline, but that means that you need to get on that, right? That needs to be turned around as quickly as you can. Okay. If you're uncertain about any aspect of the assignment, ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. Just don't ask the same question over and over because you weren't listening or something was happening at that time. So if you're going to ask questions, maybe it's going to be on a phone call, maybe be an email. And I find emails are the best asking questions because when they give you your answers, they're going to be in email. They'll be there forever. You won't lose them, right? If you're on the phone, you're asking questions, you're writing things down. It's not the same, but it works. So ask questions until the assignment is clear in your mind. Okay, I got it. I know exactly what I need to do now. Now, before you even ask questions, make sure you know what you're going to ask. If you're going to pick up the phone and talk to your lead attorney on the phone, make sure you have those questions written down and you know where you're going, okay? As the old saying goes, there's no such thing as a silly question, right? I agree. I don't think there's the way I see it is this. You're asking the question, so would someone else. Someone else wants to ask it, but maybe they don't want to, and you're asking it. Somebody else wants to know that answer, okay? So use that to your guidance, everyone. Feel free. They'd rather ask questions than have a document that's turned in that may be irrelevant, maybe not even what they wanted. You have to start over again. It's better to ask the questions up front. Okay? All right, so any questions on understanding the assignment? That's the first step of receiving a legal assignment.